bienvenidos una vez más a mi espacio, a tu espacio, nuestra comunidad. Hello, everyone. Welcome one more time. Now we're naming this, I decided, Lily's Pulse, because my pulse is killing me. It's killing me. So I want to be all over the place, doing all kinds of things. And I'm so grateful that our guest tonight said yes. And it was last minute. I had a spot and I said, "Is it possible?" And she's like, "It works out for me." And I was like, "Hallelujah," because it makes perfect sense to have her with us. Before we start talking to our surprise guest, for many of you, who has a lot to share with us, I want to extend our deepest condolences to our sister, Jessie Muniz Poland, for the loss of her father. So, for all of you who have expressed your love and text her and called her, I want you to know, as a close friend of hers, that she's received all the love. And I have never been in her shoes, nor do I envy her shoes. So, I beg you all to be a little bit more patient. She will get in contact with people, she will start talking. To people very soon, although she's on the computer like a maniac already as of today. But we here personally want to let you know that our sister is as well as that one can be when you lose someone you care about very much, and we send her our love. And as a close friend, I will tell you that she is as well as one can be. I think she's much better than I ever um, can even highlight someone, dealing with something like this. So much love to you, Jess. We love you. We respect you. We honor our space on the earth with you and your mom and your entire family. And for all of you who send me birthday wishes, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I turned 56 on Monday. I am so grateful to God and the universe that allows me to walk in health. And for all of you who know my story, know that that is vital for me. Health is number one. One of the reasons today you will hear from many people, if you haven't heard it in social media, and you guys know that I have trouble with the National Day, 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 because I believe that every issue that travels with us on this universe deserves attention all the time. But today you will hear that it's been National Mental Health Day. I'm your poster child for that. As a survivor of brain injury, as someone who deals with it all the time, as someone who learned to live with a stutter, to learn how to walk again, there is hope. So for you, if you were as dark as I was, I promise you, there is hope. You can always reach out to us and I will talk to you and we will find resources. But I will tell you right now, who tells you that you don't have to do the work? There's not a magical answer. One step at a time. And let me tell you, I hated that saying because I could barely take one step at a time. So if you're hating that saying, trust me, you are listening, and that's number one. So getting back to all of this, it's happening, people. It's happening. We get to choose a new president for the United States of las Americas, okay? Para las Américas, ¿cuántos de ustedes están listos para votar? ¿Cuántos de ustedes saben por qué quieren votar? La invitada de esta noche, yo le dije que era una sorpresa porque yo no la conocía. And I almost felt bad because I didn't know who she was. And so I thought, if I didn't know who she was, and she's been doing this magical work for such a long time, and at such a tender age, if you ask me, then all of you would want to know who she is. So let's welcome to our space, I dare to call her a sister, and someone who's really taken on politics with a different twist. So you're going to see Kate Munoz. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, muy bien. Buenas noches a todos. It's good to be here.
It's so exciting to have you. I want to tell you guys a little bit. It's Garelis, or did I pronounce that correctly?
No.
Garelis?
Got it, Elise.
Garelis. That's so pretty, but you like to go by K,
Yes.
right? So, she's like, yeah, let's not put that out there. That's in your bio. So you're the first generation in your family to go to college.
Mhm.
You don't have one degree, but you have two because we can't have one. We need to,
Right.
right? And so you have political science, communication, business administration. I mean, like you've taken it all to the next level, right? So congratulations to all of us that get to spend space with you because every time somebody is doing well and growing, our community grows. But I did want to point out a couple of things, and we're going to get right into that conversation because she blew me out of the water in the 2 minutes that we were talking off camera for all of you. Um, it's so important for us to recognize that you are the chair, the first, am I saying this correct? The
Mhm.
youngest chair and the first queer individual to lead the Connecticut Hispanic Democratic Caucus.
Yes.
La primerita, señores, la primerita. Nadie le cambia el título a uno cuando uno es la primera. So we are going to welcome you, Kate. Thank you so much for deciding to join me this evening. And for some people, be in the morning, in the afternoon, the Sunday, wherever they watch this. Okay, tell us a little bit about what is it that you're doing over there at the caucus. ¿Y qué es un caucus, nena? Por amor a Dios.
Uh, well, I guess that's a loaded question, right? Like, because there's so many things that the caucus in itself is doing and what we're focused on. But let's start with what is a caucus, right? And a caucus is essentially like a committee that is formed by a party, right? And we essentially formed in 2004, so we're 20 years old, by our founders, Americo Santiago and also Yolanda Castillo.
Mhm.
And they were powerhouses who realized that
Yes.
in our Connecticut politics, we were not being included. Our agenda, the Latino agenda, was not being focused on because why would it? When the at the time, well, even now, our politics is very white,
Mhm.
right? Um, so we formed at that time frame, and since then, we have an array of individuals have gathered with us throughout the years, and that is local organizers who are helping potential candidates. It is local community activists who are out here also being connected to the caucus. It is potential candidates who want to run for something, right? And they don't know where to start. They don't have a mentor, right? So the caucus has been an umbrella of things, but most importantly, community, right?
Mm.
That is what has been so like a constant theme, right? Especially when I first moved here to Connecticut, I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. Like, I wanted to get into politics, but I didn't know how.
And you're
And
from Paterson, New Jersey?
yeah,
All right. Shout out to New Jersey. Don't want anybody mad at me now.
you know, it's like on the how our governor from New Jersey had said, "We're from Jersey, baby, and you're not." And to get into politics, but I didn't know
That's so
how.
funny.
And
So tell us a little bit about why did you want to join the caucus? But you said something to me that was so powerful prior to. As community organizers, many of us have chosen, like to lift our voices, to organize people, to inform people, to hear people from a different, from a different drum called the heart, the pulse of the people. And you said to me, I thought my best energy was vested, and I'm paraphrasing here, as organizing, not necessarily voting. And I think that is such an important point because so many of us, community organizers, do find ourselves in the place of does our vote really matter when we're down here in the trenches and we see what doesn't happen. So can you share a little bit before we go, deep dive? So todos aquellos que piensan que porque uno es activista, uno entiende todo, uno vota, no, por supuesto que Lili va a votar, si ella es activista, está loca, ¿cómo que ella no va a votar? Algunos de nosotros nos sentimos que como estamos con las botas ahí continuamente en la tierra, con la gente, en el sudor, que esa es la inversión más grande que nosotros podemos hacer. Y muchos se nos olvida de la importancia del voto o no reconocemos el matrimonio entre el activismo y el voto. Fair?
Mhm. That's fair. That's fair. I wouldn't sum it up any other way.
Good. Good. So tell us a little, can you tell the audience about that particular story for you?
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna have to go back to 2016, right? So I was junior or senior in college, and at the time there was a whole the Mizu University had gone through like some racial injustices. And I felt internally, I was like, this is bad. I feel defenseless. I don't know what to do. And these students are literally in the same boat as I am. They're a student, a college student. I'm a college student. So, what can we do? And I started seeing that everybody was organizing, but not my school. And I am expressing this frustration to a professor. And
Sorry.
no,
Yeah, go ahead. That was the backup.
no worries. um, so I'm saying all of these frustrations to like a professor, and she planted a seed, and she was like, "Okay, so why don't you do something about it?" And I was like, "What am I
Ekumi?
gonna do?" Right. Like I was just like, "Excuse me, like what do you mean? Like what do you mean do something about it?" I was like, "What do you propose?" And then she was like, "I don't know, maybe a rally, a walkout." So what did I do? I made a walkout. That was my first experience organizing.
Wow, you chose the walkout.
I chose a walkout, and I walked out and I organized the RAs. I organized different like organizations, and we did it collectively, you know? And at the time, I didn't know the power it was to connect people up until that very moment. And I didn't call myself an organizer. I just thought that's what I was supposed to do. So I did it. And so at that very, very moment, it was the elections, right? And it was, you know,
This is
it was
2016.
this is 2016.
Don't
It was
forget
very
this year, guys. 2016.
this is 2016, and it's Trump, it's Bernie, it's Hillary. It was a moment where I'm going to be honest, I was a Sanders fan. Like I loved everything he stood for. I love that
I
he
want to live in a burning world.
I do. I did too. I still do to this day. But also, it was that moment where I was upset also, right? And I was just like, what was all of that for? If in the end of the day, who I wanted didn't happen, right? So I didn't vote. I didn't vote. And then the next morning, after the elections were called, it was Trump, and I'm like, no, get out. And it was almost like a different energy in school, you know? Like it was somber, it was sad, it felt like defeat. And I never knew that within that silence, defeat can exist.
Mhm.
So that was such an eye-opening moment because I think that also propelled me to, okay, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? And at that time I was planning on moving up to Connecticut. I had gone ahead and gotten into a graduate school program up here in Connecticut with the University of Bridgeport.
Mhm.
And then even when I was doing my graduate degree, like there was something missing. It almost felt like this pull that you have to do something because you didn't vote before and now you have to vote.
So
Now
you
you
were surprised, if I may, Kate, you were surprised that we ended up with Donald Trump as a president.
Oh yeah.
You were
Oh
surprised.
yeah.
I cried like a child because I too voted, being a grassroots and activist and advocate, doing the communications like I do. I also cried
Mhm.
because I thought, okay, we are in a lot more trouble than what I thought. Um, and some of us fell asleep at the wheel, and so on and so forth. Maybe we didn't do enough, so on and so forth. I was part of the Women's March, and these women did an amazing job, and all of that kind of stuff. So I do understand that almost hollow feeling that you feel, that you go, oh, what's going on? So now you are driven, beyond driven, um, and you're part of the caucus. How does that happen for you? I mean, like, how does the
How much
caucus happen for you?
how much time do we have? How much time do we
Whoever
have?
can be my guest.
Um, well, in a long story short kind of moment, it was like, okay, I joined the campaign. After the campaign, it was for Senator Murphy and his senatorial race. And they needed an organizer. They needed like someone officially on his office side. And I was told there's a potential opening. So you might want to throw your name in the hat. And I was like, oh, that's different. Because to put it into perspective, Patterson is like the Waterburys, the Hartfords, the Bridgeports of the world, right?
Mhm.
Like, my parents never went to college. Like we don't know what happens next. We don't have these connections. Like, so to hear that you might want to throw your name in the hat to be on the official side for a senator, that was astonishing to me. And it also showed me that, like, oh, I'm doing something great here. And it was in Senator Murphy's office that I met State Representative Hilda Santiago. And it's almost like gravity and just energy just connected us, and she became my mentor. And then she was like, you should join the caucus. And then I was like, oh,
We lost you.
can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can
Okay.
hear you. Good.
All right. Sorry. I said, like, you should join the caucus, she said, and you should check them out and see how it goes. And then I was like, okay. And so I go to one meeting, I go to another, and then at some point the chairman, who's at the time Miguel Castro, who later on becomes my mentor, goes and
I know
says,
Miguel as well. Yeah.
he goes ahead and says, you should become our secretary, like our deputy secretary, and help me out and all these things. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And so I did that for a while. And like, I was the one doing social media. I was the one sending out the emails. I was the one like making sure everybody knew where we were going to be at the time, right? So that's how I got involved. And I think that was the planets and the moon aligning and just
Agreed. Agreed.
happening.
Now, as you see it right now, moving forward, time is not on our side, because we're trying to get to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
You mentioned to me before, which, in 3 minutes of talking to you, I was like, okay, I got all these points I want to talk to her about.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the Latino vote. What do we
Mhm.
know about the Latino vote? I can tell you what I hear on the ground. You can tell me what you hear on the ground. Um, and why so many people have expressed, you know what? Es lo mismo, siempre, no importa quién gane, it's the same crap, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter, they're gonna take care of themselves, they're not gonna take care of us. Um, do you hear the same?
Yes, and every time we come to election time, I even believe the same thing, when I didn't vote. So it's kind of crazy because, and I've said this story a few times to a few different people, which is at the age of 6 years old, I knew something was different about me.
Mm,
I didn't know what it was, but I knew that something about my existence was political. And that's a lot of awareness for 6 years old.
yes, ma'am.
And imagine how many other Latino kids feel that same feeling. that same feeling of something about me is different comparatively to my counterparts.
I care about certain things that other people seem to not be as involved, and they trigger me. So that little girl now has had heck of a ride, and we see you, just moving forward, and I'm more than
Mhm.
happy to watch that journey. You got a pretty big job. You're talking to
Yeah.
people all of the time. What are some of the points that you highlight for Latinos when I come up to you and I say, "Mira que," break it down for me because, dime la verdad.
Mhm.
Dime la verdad. I trust you, okay? I love you, mija. Just tell me the truth.
Mhm.
Because for some reason we believe, right, that our loved ones, the people that we care about, maybe a chosen family, or the biological, they don't have the answers. So give it to me. So what do we tell our Latino brothers and sisters who are out there going, I don't know.
Well, first, my cat also loves the politics.
I have one too. I have one too.
Secondly, I'm gonna say to you what they told me at the convention, which I thought was so simple and so powerful, which was Despierta Latino,
Mhm.
because it's you who's on the line.
We're
We
on
did
the table.
it's the it's it's not it hasn't been that long since we were allowed to vote. It hasn't been that long. So, and even as women, it hasn't been that long since we were allowed to vote. If
Correct.
there's one thing that I have done time and time again, and my siblings could like really attest to this, during every election time, I always say, "Did you register to vote? Did you check if your polling place? Are you gonna go vote? Who are you? I don't care who you vote for, just vote, because you didn't used to have that right. You should vote." And it's just like, think about it this way, you know? At the convention, they said, as of 2024, there are 36.2 million Latinos who are eligible to vote. In 2020, 61% voted for the Biden and Harris team, while 36% voted for Trump. What does that tell you? We have power, but we don't see it. And guess why that is? Because everyone around us, the political machine around us has made us feel that we don't have a say, but we do. We most absolutely do. And it's just like I think the issue here is that everybody thinks that, well, I voted for the presidential, but did you vote municipal? Did you vote statewide? Do you know the differences? So let's talk about that.
Yeah. I know we're talking about the Democratic caucus, and
Mhm.
I had a conversation with someone who I respect very much, and they were like, "You can have someone from the Republican." I was like, "Listen, I don't have time for that.
Mhm.
I respect your opinion, all of that kind of stuff, but I don't have time for that. The clock
Mhm.
is ticking. I really want to talk to people who understand what's on the table for us right now." So
Mhm.
when I started talking about mental health, the budgets are going to be slashed because none of the issues that concerns most of us are concerning to the Trump campaign.
Mhm.
None of them. Our bodies, okay? Although they like to focus on the abortion issue, our body goes way more than that, right?
Mhm.
Although they like to focus on mental health awareness, the budget is cut down 35% from hospitals to providers to private practices. We make it difficult for private practices to open. We make it difficult for people to enter into the insurances policies. We make it so, so, so difficult. There's a waiting list for people to go get care. I called recently for someone, and they can't be seen into January. So if you go
Mhm.
to the hospital, and this is the question that we have all the time, and these are the examples I give to people all the time, is when you go to the hospital, the majority of this country is going bankrupt because of hospital bills.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when you see people at the ER because their head hurts, their back hurts, or whatever, we can't even afford the insurance that is if we are blessed. to get an offer to buy insurance is way beyond. None of these are concerns of the Trump administration, let
Mhm.
alone our brothers and sisters who are gay, lesbian, transgender, queer, uh, binary. I mean, my granddaughter, my great, like none of these things are at the table. And worst of all, I'm 56. What do you think is
Mhm.
going to happen to me moving forward?
Mhm.
How much
Yeah.
value do I have after 40?
Ooh, yeah. That was deep. Yes.
How much
Yes.
value do I have after 40? And if we have not had these conversations among ourselves, but we keep preaching to the choir. Do you find yourself that a lot of the groups that we sit on sometimes, we know that who's in the room is going to vote because
Mhm.
we are fired up. We all got, we're like ready. Open the
Yeah.
booth. We are there. But there is a group of folks that we need to continue talking to, who are the folks who are saying, I don't even know. Yo no sé ni quién es bueno, ni quién es malo, and they get clips. You know how it
Mhm.
is. This is what we do, right? You get clips. And a clip, you can make that a beautiful clip, a very emotional and touching clip, or you can make that the most hateful clip in the world.
Yeah.
So, what do we tell those Latino voters? We have a lot of power. You pointed that out. We definitely have power. We have seen when we unite, we have seen what happens. Um, what do we do with this power? I mean, we got days. We're in the 30s at now.
Yeah. So, to the Latinos who are still undecided, think about your housing situation.
Mm,
Think about what social services you're on, if any, right? Think about those things because under a Trump administration, they don't care about you. They
mm-mm.
don't care about the low income Latino.
They don't
And
care
come
about your buying power.
they don't care about your buying power. They're like, listen, the commentary that I have heard just here in Connecticut, right? Because Connecticut loves to say they're a blue state. You'll be surprised.
Mhm,
Get around the right people. You'll
mhm.
be very surprised.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, it's like you get who you vote for, you know? And that is something to always think about because it's like my mom, she's a single mom. She couldn't vote. She was here undocumented. I didn't know that for years. It's for
Mhm,
the Latinos who are undocumented and don't have a say. It's for your kids because if it's not for you, it's for them. And I've always thought about this as if not for me, if not for my kids, it's for whoever can because I don't care if I don't get it. I fought for it. That's all I care about. There comes a moment in time where you can't be selfish anymore and you have to go out there and you have to do your part, make a difference. Cuz I am, and I can't do this alone.
we
I
can.
need I need the Latinos who don't want to vote. I need you to knock on a door. I need you to feel that energy that I feel every time I go and speak to people, you know? So it's like if you're indecisive right now, what social service are you on? Imagine how you would live without it. Do you go to the doctor regularly, like you said, Lily? Oh, you don't. Why is that? You're saying inflation? You're saying all these things? The president controls only so much.
Absolutely. Which is what we're seeing right now with the devastation in Florida and also in North Carolina, and we've seen it in Mexico, and we've seen it in Puerto Rico, and we've seen it, all over the world. We
Mhm,
need to have our counterparts united. We need to have our allies at the table at the local, state, federal, and national level. Globally, we need to have them.
mhm,
Now, for so many people, okay, and I get this a lot. For so many people, the question is not so much who do I vote for? For some people is I am tired of the institution. I am tired of the system. I am
Mhm.
tired of the old message. We will unite. We will kumbaya. We will do this. We will do that. They speak to us in what they think is our native tongue, which is fascinating to me. You know how to say habichuela, so all of a sudden I have to vote for you. Um, like, what the heck is that?
Mhm.
What about if I don't eat habichuela, hermano? Cut it out. Johanna Hayes, we just, we see those commercials about her opponent, and we're like, don't see habichuelas. Okay. What does that mean? So if you're concerned about your habichuelas, hermano, this is the time to come to the table. So we have a lot of things for us. We're on the table, which is the problem. We're not even at the table many times. We're on the table.
Mhm.
Everything that we hear right now from the Trump campaign, it is incorrect. It is driven by evil. It
Mhm.
is, if any of us would say one, two, three things that Trump has said, you and I would be wearing nice, pretty suits.
Yeah.
We would either be at the psych unit for a long stay, a very long stay.
Mhm.
I've been in the psych unit, let me just tell you. So it would be a long stay, okay? Or we would be incarcerated already because we would be a threat to society. But because people are so upset with the system, the present system, they think that he is the change.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So how do we, from someone who has the expertise that you do, how do we bring the message to our communities that says, no, 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 no. No, no va a ser nosotros escalando a poner another wall, otra pared, que México no va a pagar por la pared. Ha sido muy claro que México no va a pagar por la pared, ni Honduras va a pagar por la pared, ni Guatemala va a pagar por la pared. No va a pagar nadie por la pared, lo va a pagar tú. Y no se va a hacer.
Mhm.
Pero el problema no es la inmigración, es la pobreza, la
Mhm.
violación de los derechos humanos. Es
Mhm.
lo que nosotros hemos hecho aquí y hemos visto. Si usted se siente cómodo con ver a niños en sus pañales que no puedan comer, madres y padres separados, a mí pregúntese usted, no, yo no soy inmigrante, yo soy legal, pero ¿dónde estábamos antes?
Mhm. Mhm.
Porque alguien tuvo que pasar por un proceso para que nosotros estuviéramos aquí, y eso incluye a los puertorriqueños, le habla esta boricua. So, okay, what do you say to those folks who are like, you know what? I'm just so tired, Kate. What's gonna be the difference? Or not ready for a woman. I've heard this from even family members. Una mujer, estás loca.
Mhm. That's such a canon, right? Because well, let's start with my favorite part, like, I'm tired.
Mhm.
I tell this all the time to Hilda, and it's, I'm ready to retire. Like, I've been ready to retire, like, if
Me voy.
anyone yeah, like, if anyone's been ready to retire, is me, but also, at the same time, I understand. I understand. I'm with you. I'm tired with you, but I can't stop. I won't stop
That's beautiful. I'm tired with you.
because it's like, I think los latinos tenemos tanta trauma, right?
Mhm.
Tanta trauma que tenemos de nuestros países. Like, my own mother has trauma from when she was a child, from escaping war. She still remembers there was a bombing a block over where her best friend used to live. Unfortunately, her childhood friend didn't survive. And that story rings to me. I understand we're tired. I'm tired with you. But I don't want to live in a world where kids, elderly people, adults, human beings are running away or trying to run away from war and can't. I don't want to keep living in a world where, or in a community where I'm continuously told, you guys don't vote anyway.
Ooh, all right, golden nugget. I was gonna go there. You don't matter as much porque ustedes no votan.
Mhm,
Tu gente no votan.
mhm,
Ustedes no van a votar. Ustedes se quedan en casita rezando a ver cuál va a ser el próximo o la próxima.
mhm,
And that is a statement I've heard before.
mhm,
That is a statement I've heard before.
mhm,
Um, so what do we do if we are interested? And now we have phone banks going on.
mhm.
So when people tell you, why are you choosing um, to vote, to support, and to journey with Vice President Harris, um, what do you tell them? Because you and I are different generations, and I love that because
Mhm.
this is how the world flows. What do you tell them?
I tell them, vote because this is where change starts. Vote for Harris and for Walls because not only is that history, right? Like you're living through history.
Mhm,
And I'm pretty sure you want to tell your grandkids, if you choose to have children, that beautiful part of history that you contributed to it, right? And on the other hand is that that is representation. That is a woman. That is a person who started out like a middle class family. No one knows our own trajectory in life, and neither does she.
mhm,
But here she is now running for president, and that in itself, vote for your freedom. Just like her slogan, vote for your freedom, because
mhm.
that's on the line.
It is on the line, and to watch a woman, Harrison Waltz, they have a plan, and we've heard the
Mhm.
plan, and it's in writing, and you can go to their website, and you can read it. Lo pueden leer, lo pueden leer, lo pueden leer,
You
lo
sure you don't
pueden
have a concept of
ah,
an idea of a plan?
no, el concepto no. El concepto mío es que yo mañana me levanto y tengo 35 años. Ese es mi concepto. El concepto mío. Pero tienen un plan, algo efectivo, algo tangible que usted puede
Mhm,
tocar, que usted puede pensar, esto me gusta, esto no me gusta.
mhm,
Los oponentes no tienen eso. Son pajaritos preñados, como decimos nosotros en Puerto Rico.
mhm,
Ahí van. Pero no entendemos cuál es la agenda. Pero si aquellos que nosotros hemos vivido, ¿ok? Bajo el liderazgo, si se le puede llamar a esa cosa liderazgo, ¿ok? Porque eso no fue liderazgo, eso
mhm,
fue, corran las ratas a ver quién se salva. Vimos cuántas personas estuvieron completamente perdidas por las
mhm,
mentiras, el impacto, el abuso. Yo no puedo conseguir un departamento a veces para una persona que ha ido a la prisión, ha pagado su delito, ha salido y se quiere integrar de nuevo a la comunidad, pero sí vas a votar por un presidente que está comprobado que es totalmente un criminal.
mhm.
That to me is the hardest part for me because it's not an equal balance. My brothers and sisters who have paid their time, who have done minimal things and who have done things that they so much regret and they paid their time and they want to integrate themselves back into society. What do we say to them? Psh, you're on your own, man.
Mhm.
You're the plague, right? Because there's only several agencies out there trying to plug all the time. What do you think is going to happen for the funding for that? But it's okay for a criminal to run for president? You, we were talking about Obama's birth certificate, the poor guy. You know what I mean? Like, we're still talking about Obama. Why are we talking about Obama? Um,
We
so
were talking about his tan suit.
just like, so what do you say to those folks who are saying, no, 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 he's telling the truth? Because what I hear a lot of people is he tells it like it is. I'm like, yeah, but it's a lie.
Right. Except the part that it's a lie. Except the part that it's a
Today,
lie.
right now, after talking to you, okay, I am French
Mhm.
as of
Well, if that's true, then I'm Portuguese.
now. Okay. So
Yeah.
we just go on that. We just gotta create a campaign on whatever we want. So what do you think for younger voters?
Mhm.
My kids are in their 30s, 35 and up. For younger voters, what do you think? Because you guys have a whole different path, a whole different path. We didn't have social media. We had a lot more face-to-face conversations. You know what I mean? You don't go into
Mhm.
social media and, talk about my hair and my crooked eye and all of that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
which people like to do. But you had face to face. You had the Ilia Castros of the world. Do you know what I mean? You had the Evelyn Mantillas of the world, which we still have. I
Mhm.
mean, you have the Ana Natals of the world. You have the Carusos, the Candida Flores, we don't have that many women. If your generation, we don't stand right beside you and behind you and say, don't quit. Don't quit. What do you
Mhm.
say to the younger generation? Um, because you definitely got fired up. I mean, you could have gone by, a protest and you said, no, I'm going for a walkout. I'm like, okay, no protest? No, we're not doing that. We're walking out. Okay.
We're just walking out together.
Let's just
Let's
go.
go.
Let's do the walkout. We're out. What do you say to that younger population? And of course, I'm comparing them to me.
Mhm.
Um, what do
I
you say?
guess you can, one, continue to watch the world happen to you via TikTok, right? Or you can go out and make the change that you so desperately want and that we need to see. I'm not going to be on my phone. Yes, I use it as a tool, but I need you out there with me. You don't need to know how to do everything. I'll teach you.
Mm,
I'll teach you. And I implore you. There are things that you know that I don't know, and I need that from you, right? So it's like, don't watch the world pass you by on TikTok, on Instagram, on social media. Don't get it twisted. I grew up watching MySpace become MySpace. You know, I grew up watching all of the social medias come to play.
right.
I saw it. I lived it, So I know it's so enticing to sit back and say, this is happening. Okay. And what happens when it happens to you and there's no one else there to make it stop? So let's do this together because there's so many there's so much conversations about for the next generation, for the next generation, for the next generation. You are it. Right now you are it.
Oh, I love that. Put
Mhm.
me in my place. Let me sit on my chair. Okay. Que está sudando. That is a beautiful message.
I'll get some water. I'll get some water.
Something stronger should be in here. Okay. Um, so women, let's talk about the power of women. We women, brown sisters, you, me, all those women that are out there, las abuelas como yo. I got a
Mhm.
17-year-old granddaughter, I got a 4-year-old dynamite granddaughter. We need to step up for our girls. And I really would like to, Kay, I don't know how you feel about this, but I would love for us to have this discussion. When we talk about women's rights, we're not only talking, and this is what the Republican Party, well, Trump, let's put it that way, because I
Mhm.
think some Republicans have already said, I don't know what that's about. His focus on abortion. And we're talking about women's health. We're talking about you not deciding for me.
Mhm.
Okay. And you're not putting me in the prison where I can't even choose the provider that I want because you have already threatened them, depending on the state. Okay. That if they help me, I can die. You know what I mean? They'll go to jail and what the heck? I die. And so it's a lot larger. The mammograms that people need to have, the neurology that many of us need support in, the mental health that we need support in, the just going in and having our checkups, all of that is, right now up for grabs. So you're going to tell me that it's okay for my husband, who I love dearly, he's my bud, that he can smack me around. Let me just tell you, it ain't going to happen that way.
I know. Very
Okay, and it's not gonna happen that way.
good.
Okay, because I'm gonna go get a nice little suit. He's the nicest, chulito, mi negrito lindo. Uh, but you're gonna give permission to the world to tell me now that I also have less value than when 1930s were around.
Mhm.
You're gonna put me back there.
Mm,
So you're going to put me in the ownership of a male.
mm.
I'm gonna be
Yeah,
owned.
I guess it's also that this question for everyone, right? What laws are there for men? I'll
Mm.
wait. And also, that is
I
a
love that.
form of
I'll wait. That
I'll
should be the
wait.
campaign right there. I'll wait.
I'll wait. And that was also a question that was asked to Vice President Harris on an interview, right? Where they were asked, what laws are there for men? And then she was like, there are none,
Yeah,
just women.
that's
And it's just at that very moment that should make us think. Also, let's think about how I love giving fun facts. So here's one. Women have such a buying power, right? The company of Stanley, from the Stanley Cups, which was originally for the working man, was just making average numbers up until the point that a white woman decided that they're gonna hype up the Stanley Cups. And guess what happened? So many people started buying Stanley Cups, all because a woman posted it, right? And what do women do now? Estoy con mi Stanley.
ujú. Y
So,
cualquier crema que tú quieras, yo la he comprado, está arriba, tú la puedes ver, yo la he
mhm,
probado para que no se me arrugue acá, para que no se me arrugue acá y todo ese tipo de cosas.
mhm,
So, it is the number one power that we have is our buying power. How are we going to utilize that? I love that. I love that. I love
yeah.
that. Many of us do feel it's the number one show. He's totally biased because he's my husband. Totally biased. Ese es el negrito, ese es el negrito. Uh, so let's talk about that, the buying power that we have. So if women don't buy stuff, if we don't say this is good, the nail polish, the hair, the no going without makeup, we can make anything happen.
Mhm.
We can make anything happen. Now that voice, where is it going to go? If we
That's a
end
good
up
question.
under the leadership, well, I can't call it leadership,
No.
under the dictatorial craziness of Trump. Because at what point, and I ask you this, Kay, and I'm sure you have this, and this is a conversation. Somebody just texted me and said, "Can you bring her back? I love her." It's up to her. She said she wants to quit. We gotta get out and vote so she won't quit. We can sit down with her and say, "Please look, all of us went out and vote. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit." So come if we are talking amongst us, we're talking about buying power, we're talking about our voices, we're talking about taking our bodies, and saying, no, 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 you can't do that. You can't tell me what to do with my business. You
Mhm.
can't tell me how I'm going to communicate. You're not going to tell me who I can purchase from, who I cannot purchase from. You're not going to lock me in. And this is what they've done to us generation after generation after generation.
Mhm.
And we have right now the jets, the airplanes, everything to say, no, that's not going to happen to us anymore.
Mhm.
Um, how do you feel about all of that? I mean, like it's,
I think it's taken this is so systematic, right?
Mhm.
Because as I was socialized as a straight woman, which I'm not, and also in addition to that, my gender is I was socialized as feminine presenting person. So with that being said, it's like I'm used to my abuelita. I love her so much. She always
Me
used to
too.
say
La mía está en el cielo, but I love it.
like I love her so much because she always used to say, okay, like baja la voz,
Oh,
don't say too much, always be the bigger person, always be all of these other things, right? And the reality of the matter is that also how Vice President Harris has said, I was I was socialized to be humble. And the reality is I don't want to be. I don't want to be humble. And I want to show you that I do have power. And that goes to all my Latinos. We do have power. And it's like we can't keep working. We
being
can't keep putting our
small.
head down. We can't keep working until and hoping for someone to notice that something's wrong because no one will notice,
Nobody's
unfortunately.
coming.
Nobody's coming to save you. And also, it's like that saying that like a closed mouth don't get fed. So you're not gonna get fed.
Woo!
You're not gonna get fed. Your mouth's closed. So I think that that's something that I think about often. And there are so many powerful women. My group of friends that I have that I love them so much. We nicknamed our group chat the Moon Maidens.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And it's so beautiful because I once said to them, I never knew. Everybody tells you, it takes a village to raise you, but how do you make the village? And this is how.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And they're my village, and it's just like they love me the way that I love them, and they always want the better for me, and they always uplift me, and it's like there are so many women doing that work,
Mhm.
and it's so important for us to remember that we're such a powerful being. We make people. For those who can make a person, but then also we nurture people. We are loving, we are caring.
We're
With
tough.
We're tough. With that all being said, it's unfortunate that our political system sees us as less than, but it's also now our job to show them I'm not. You can keep telling me that, but I'm no longer listening.
Oof. Harris, you need to steal someone. I will cry, Vice President Harris. I will cry. But I think you need to steal some people here in Connecticut by the last name of Munoz. But we ain't going to talk about her like she, like not here. But I think that would be a great move.
Mhm.
I want to tell everybody, Kay, hopefully you will come back. I know you're very busy. I will see you on the road because I have to wear my baseball cap and my
Mhm.
shoes, and I'm terrified of Jesse. And so whatever Jesse tells us to do, we've been friends for almost 34 years. It's incredible. But I also want women to think about agárrale la mano a otra,
Yes.
abraza a otra hermana,
Yes.
cuídale los hijos a otra. Y te estoy diciendo esto porque si tú pasaste como pasé yo, when I speak, a lot of people will say one or two things. Okay. Yeah, that's the woman we want. Oh my God, but she's so aggressive. You mean passionate. You mean assertive. You mean all of those things, right? If my counterpart happens to be a male, let alone a white male, you're like, wow, he's so assertive, such an intellect. I mean, like he got his facts together. I'm like, oh, my
Mhm.
ovaries are about to give you some facts. And they're real. So I
Yeah.
think that it's okay for us to hold each other in those spaces and say, this is not my strong suit, but I can call Kay because that's her strong suit and does not make you any less. Al
Mhm.
contrario, el valiente pide ayuda.
Mhm.
El valiente siempre pide ayuda. So
Mhm.
enamórate de tu comunidad, enamórate de tus hijos, enamórate, whoever you've decided. that has value in your community, fall in love with that by holding each other's hands and walking up and saying, we're going to vote. And then
Mhm.
we hold each other until the results come. And we will be wearing cumbers and pearls. Um,
Period.
right? So what in closing, what I want to make sure that all of us know, ¿de dónde es tu mami?
Oh, mi mami es de Perú.
¡Ah, qué rico! Ay, me encanta la comida peruana. Especialmente la carne blanca. Ay, Dios mío. Okay,
Ay.
that's a whole different show. Okay, a comer, a comer, a comer todo el mundo. Tenemos a tantas personas que nos necesitan en estos momentos, pero no pensemos tanto en la pobreza, sino en la
Mhm.
riqueza que nosotros tenemos.
Mhm.
It is a huge business to keep us in poverty. That's a huge
Mhm.
discussion. There's a huge booming business, millions, trillions of dollars in keeping people poor. And
Mhm.
that means from finances to this, to all the way of spirit and soul and feeling that you have value. It is time for us to shake it and say, we no longer want to be the poor people at the table.
Mhm.
We are the rich people. And
Mhm.
we're coming in numbers. Kay, what are some of the things that people can do right now as they get ready for election day?
Oof. Okay. Where do I begin?
You said oof.
Oof. Oof. Oof. All right. Make phone calls. We need phone calls.
Do I have to know how do I make that phone call? Because people ask me all the time, a phone bank, but what do I know what to say? Can I
We
just
give
show
you a
up?
script. We give you a script. We walk you through it. You don't want to use your phone number? That's okay. Get a Google number. They're free. I promise you they're free. So you got your phone? We can block your number. Okay? If you have a script, you have a few talking points, you're not always doing it alone. You're doing it with people. And at times it's like it goes by really quick. Very, very quick. If you normally you can go to a headquarters depending on your local town, but I'm constantly posting about local phone banks. I know Jesse is doing a phone bank in New Britain for Johanna Hayes. So if you guys want that information, you guys could also follow us on our Connecticut Hispanic Democratic Caucus Facebook group. Answer the questions, or I won't let you in. I'm sorry. Um, so I'll be sharing a lot of volunteer opportunities there. We're really galvanizing for Congresswoman Hayes because she needs us the most. She's also having door knocking events, and those you can come with a friend. So it's not so lonely.
Yeah.
Personally, I love to do it on my own because I just knock them out real quick, you know?
Yeah.
But if that's not your preference, bring a friend. Don't
Yeah.
do it alone. Another thing that you could also do is write postcards. There are different individuals and groups that are doing postcard writing and they're mailing them out. And if that is not your strong suit, ask if you can volunteer to be someone to to give rides for people. Ask to give a ride. And if that is not enough for you, if you can't do that, Voluntarios por Harris are looking for bilingual volunteers to tell our Latino their rights if they are turned away, and they will put you on the national call line or on a local state line like Florida or like Texas or even a Connecticut line, because sometimes we don't vote because we didn't know our rights. So those are all the multitude of things that you can do. You can also donate money if you would like to, but I promise you, if you want to donate money, do it. It'll go a long way. But also get outside, go do something. Another Harris moment, do something, anything.
Right. Somebody's gonna steal our Connecticut, start cleaning up your pack your tissues because we're gonna cry. We're gonna cry and that would be smart. Okay, it's been a pleasure having you. Lo que quiero es un poquito para todas ustedes que me siguen y que nos siguen. Cuando yo divida el video también, en sus cámaras tienen a Kay Muñoz, que ha rompido barreras ya, que está al pendiente de nosotros, pero yo quería dejarles saber a ustedes que hay muchas formas en que ustedes se pueden envolver. Y yo sé que a veces algunos de nosotros no hacemos las cosas porque pensamos que no tenemos las herramientas. No, yo no soy mucho de política, yo no. Puedes tener tu teléfono, se te puede conseguir un teléfono de Google que es tan solo una línea, y esa línea pues te bloqueamos. tu teléfono para que no todo el mundo tenga tu teléfono, obvio, y eso también es gratis si te gusta hacer llamadas, si no quieres estar al frente de todo el mundo, o también puedes ir a uno de los locales donde está todo el grupo de gente y ellos están haciendo llamadas. ¿No te gusta hacer eso? Puedes escribirle esas postales tan lindas que usted sabe escribir, porque usted sabe que usted sabe escribir esas postales bien lindas. Yo no tengo buena, el print mío tú no lo quieres, because you have no idea what I just said to you. Um, pero muchos de ustedes les gusta hacer eso. Si quieren ir a tocar en las puertas, les voy a decir la importancia de tocar en las puertas. Muchas personas dicen, no, 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 que me van a tirar la puerta en la cara. Si no lo quieres hacer solo, que dice que a ella le gusta hacerla sola porque ella va a las millas, ¿verdad? Pero algunos de nosotros a lo mejor no queremos ir acompañaditos y lo puedes hacer un día. Se juntan 3 y 4 y 5 de ustedes, ¿ok? Lo que ustedes quieran y a tocar puertas. Y van a ver que hay muchas personas. Sí, siempre va a haber alguien que te va a mandar para el Cibao, para allá y que te vaya para allá. Y chévere, porque nosotros no vamos para allá anyway. Pero siempre va a haber gente linda que te va a decir, mira, yo no tenía ni idea.
Ujú.
¿Quién es esa persona? Yo no tenía ni idea. Y vas a pasar una oportunidad y vas a crecer. Lo otro es que tienen un grupo de Facebook. Dinos de nuevo, okay, what is it called? Because quiero que la gente entienda por qué las preguntas están ahí y por qué ellos quieren que tú llenes esas preguntas. What's the
Okay.
name of the Facebook group?
Connecticut Hispanic Democratic Caucus. It's going to ask you about like 3 questions. Just answer them so that way we can let you in, because that's how we filter out who is actually there to gain information and to continue to build community, and who is there just to be a troll.
Ya todos ustedes saben lo que es un troll, ¿verdad? Como dice mi amiga, mira, no me trolees. Esos son este tipo de personas que están buscando información no para el beneficio de la comunidad, sino pues para utilizarla y manipularla de una forma que no es productiva. Esas preguntas están ahí para asegurarse también que se puedan comunicar con ustedes en el futuro y que ustedes estén informados y comunicados. La otra cosa que yo le invito a todos ustedes es que sigan a personas como Kay y lo que están haciendo ellos también, porque así nos mantenemos informados. Informados y también cuando ellas hagan y ellos hagan el llamado, nosotros podemos responder al nivel que nosotros nos sintamos cómodos. A veces, cuando estamos unidos, the drum starts coming up. We start
Mhm.
feeling it. We still feel the pulse, and you like that person, you're going to go there. So hagan lo que ustedes puedan hacer, pero una cosa sí le voy a decir en español y en inglés. En estos momentos estamos a riesgo de todo lo que nosotros tenemos, de todo lo que nosotros tenemos, a nivel federal, estatal, local y global. Si usted piensa que el presidente de los Estados Unidos, él o ella, en este caso queremos a la presidenta, ¿verdad? Queremos hacer historia, no tan solo porque es una mujer, sino porque tiene la educación, porque ha comprobado que está del lado del pueblo para el pueblo, porque se la ha sudado, nadie se la regaló, ni la educación, ni sus trabajos, ni sus derechos, ni nada por el estilo, porque ella sabe lo que es sentir el dolor de una pérdida de un ser humano también. Ella sabe lo que quiere decir, mi piel es diferente a lo que las personas están acostumbrados. ¿Ok? Ella sabe ser madrastra como yo, como muchas de ustedes que están allá también. Y ella sabe enfrentarse en una corte y saber que ella tiene lo correcto para poder corregir las cosas que están pasando en nuestro país. Ya ella tiene la experiencia. Pero si usted quiere a alguien que ha tenido la experiencia en la televisión de conducir un programa, pues entonces se va para el otro lado. Y lo he dicho yo, no lo dijo Kay. I'm fully responsible for what I just said. It's not Kay, it's me. Okay, it's been a pleasure. Do you want some words here that you want to leave folks with? Because apparently you and I are very passionate, so we can do this.
One last thing. Learn to be uncomfortable
Mm.
with the comfortable and vice versa, because I didn't know how to do this in the beginning. And I hope that my personal journey, my current journey, inspires you to get involved. I'll be there. You'll see me. So I hope to see anyone from here at a door, at a phone bank, at a rally. I hope to see you there. And if you want to do a walkout, I'll also be there.
Nos fuimos. Nos fuimos. Kay dijo que nos teníamos que ir, so nos fuimos. Detrás de ella nos fuimos. La gente pregunta, ¿pero para dónde? El buying power se fue.
Yeah.
Una cosa como queremos o nos vamos con el buying power. As I always say to all of you, this is your little space with me. We continue to grow. If you haven't subscribed and you love the videos and you love what we talk about, please subscribe. It helps me a lot to get the message out there. This is the conversation. We are the only bilingual zone. Aquí en inglés y en español lo hablamos, y si tuviéramos otro lenguaje también, pero yo no tengo ese privilegio. De mi parte, por favor, le pido a todos ustedes que me hagan el favor a mí y me defiendan mi cuerpo, me defiendan mis hijas, me defiendan mis nietas, a mi madre y a mi padre con su voto. Que Dios te bendiga. That's what I believe. I hope I don't offend the universe, whatever you want, mommy. And may everybody be well, and I'll see you very soon in some of our videos. Now I hop on to Instagram and I tell gossip about Kay and everything that happened here. Thank you so much, Kay. We'll see you very, very, very soon.
Yes.
Un besote. See you on the trails.
See you on the trails.